Hi, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my French Faves series. This lesson is Deconstructed Cassoulet. Cassoulet is a classic French dish, but I find main course-sized portions to be too much. Also, I find that the traditional version of this dish is often too heavy on beans and is often dry. My deconstructed version allows you to control the size, the bean to protein ratio, and the moisture. Deconstructed is also interesting and makes a good presentation. So let's start cooking. Okay, now I've placed the duck pieces, these are duck legs, into the sous vide bag. And now I'm going to add some thyme sprigs that have been tied with some kitchen twine, and about a tablespoon, might be a little bit more than a tablespoon, of duck fat. Okay. Then we're going to take it to our vacuum sealer and we're going to seal it up. Okay, so whatever vacuum sealer you have, do that. All right, now here we have our vacuum bag. It's been sealed. Now we're going to put this into our sous vide device, 176 degrees for 8 or 9 hours. Okay. Okay, here we have our beans. They're in a pot covered in about 2 inches of water. They were soaking in water overnight. Okay. Now we're going to cook the beans. So we're going to put them onto medium heat. Then we're going to add the chicken bouillon, the double concentrate tomato paste, the onions, the garlic, and the bouquet garni. Now, if you took my cooking course, you know what a bouquet garni is. If you didn't take the course, it's peppercorns, about a tablespoon of peppercorns, some parsley or parsley stems, a couple of bay leaves, and several sprigs of thyme. Okay. Now we're going to submerge all of that into the water, stir it up a little bit. We're going to bring that to a boil, and then we're going to moderate the heat so that the beans are, they're not boiling, and they're not at a low simmer either, somewhere in between, so that they are cooking. And they should take about 45 minutes to an hour to get tender. Okay. Let's get our sausage ready for the cassoulet. I've already sliced half of this. This is fully cooked chorizo, okay? Now, if you can use any sausage, but if you use an uncooked sausage, you should cook it first to firm up the meat on the inside of the casing. If you don't do that and you slice it before you cook it, the meat may expand out of the casing. So this sausage has been fully cooked, so I'm just slicing it. Then I'm going to saute these pieces. But if this were an uncooked sausage, first I would at least partially brown it on all sides, and then I would slice it. We're slicing the pieces about 1/4 of an inch thick to be in keeping with the fact that this is a small plate. We want small pieces. Okay, now we're going to saute all of these sausage pieces in the olive oil until they are beautiful. Okay, these are looking beautiful. We've got a little brown around the outer edges, and they're kind of golden. I mean, they were already reddish to begin with because they're chorizo. But these are beautiful. They've firmed up a bit. Now what we're going to do is keep these warm until we are ready to plate. Okay, if you haven't already done so, heat your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, here is our duck, which was cooking in the sous vide device for about 8 hours, and I've let it cool down just enough that I can handle them. Okay, and we're going to take them out of the vacuum bag. Okay, now what we want to do is take the skin off of the duck meat and then separate the duck meat from the bones. And I gotta tell you, this is a pretty messy job, and it's very slick because of the duck fat. Then once you've removed the fat and the skin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to render that into duck fat that I can then use for cooking at some other time. Okay, there we have it. Here's all of our duck meat. Here's all of our bones and duck skin and fat. All right, so we're going to take this duck meat to the next step. All right, I've transferred all of the duck meat to this sizzle platter. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to break up the pieces a little bit so that they're not so big, because when we put them onto the deconstructed cassoulet, we don't want big pieces, all right? We want them to be more in tune with the size of the dish, which is really a small plate. Okay, now let's taste the duck and see if it needs seasoning adjusted. Yes, it does. We're going to add a little bit of salt. And a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. And toss that together. Okay, now we're going to keep this warm until we are ready to plate. If you make it earlier and you then need to reheat it before you plate, the best way to do that would be in a double boiler. Okay, our beans have been cooking for about an hour. They're nice and tender. Now what we're going to do is drain them and remove the bouquet garni. Now the liquid that's in here is pretty tasty. But I don't need it for this particular dish, so I may keep it for some other use. Okay, now I'm draining the beans into a colander, but like I said, I'm keeping the liquid. I may use that for some other purpose. I want to reach in here and find the bouquet garni. There it is. Take that out, okay? Okay, I've transferred the beans, after I drained them, into a saucepan. Now I'm going to add in the tomatoes. Okay, now I'm going to gently stir this in because I don't want to break up the beans, okay? Okay, there we go. Now we're going to keep this warm until we're ready to plate up. All right, now we're going to plate up the deconstructed cassoulets. First, we're going to brush a little bit of olive oil into our cocottes. You could also do this in ramekins, any small oven-proof dish if you're doing it as a small plate. Then we're going to add some of the beans. Remember, this is a small plate, so we're not using a lot for each one. Okay, then we're going to add some of the duck confit. Then we're going to add a couple of pieces of chorizo to each one. 3 is a good number for this size of a dish. I'm only plating up 2 for the camera, as you can see. And then I'm going to top with some breadcrumbs. These are panko breadcrumbs. Then we want to put just a little bit of butter on each one, right in the middle. Okay. Now these are going to go into the oven, 350-degree oven, for 15 to 20 minutes. That's really just enough to heat everything up nice and hot, and also to melt the butter and to crisp up those breadcrumbs. Okay, into the oven. Okay, here they are. They're beautiful. They were in the oven for about 20 minutes, and the breadcrumbs are getting nice and golden. And we're just going to give a few grains of salt on each one, and a twist of pepper. And just a little bit of parsley. And there we have it. This is deconstructed cassoulet. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is at Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.